Hey everybody, Bowlingful here. Let's talk about spare balls. It's a topic not many people talk about, and it's something that you need if you don't have. So we're going to do a little discussion on spare balls, all the different brands of spare balls, all the different kinds of spare balls, and the spare balls that I currently have in my arsenal. So spare balls are one of those things that if you're getting into bowling, a lot of people that are getting into bowling don't think they need one until they start missing a bunch of spares, right? And then everybody will usually tell you, hey, you might want to get a spare ball. And a lot of people fight it initially. They don't feel like they need one. Well, I have 4 because I love spare balls so much. And I thought I'd share with you my spare balls that I have and all the different spare balls that are out there on the market today. There's no reason to not get one because the lowest price spare ball is just over 50 bucks. So there's no reason not to get one. It's good, especially for spares, right? Especially when you want a ball that goes straight. Some of these spare balls are actually advertised as beginner balls just because they have very little hook to them. So the core is pretty much non-existent core inside or non-existent differential. Differential is like 0.006 on a lot of them. So we'll start with this one. So this was the very first spare ball that I bought last year. This one cost me $150. This is by On the Ball. You may see OTB when you're looking online. It stands for On the Ball. And they have a whole bunch of different designs. You can get all sorts of different sports team logos on here. Anything that you wanted to make custom. You can even create a custom image and put it on the ball. Just FYI, when you do buy this ball, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for them to make this because they have to custom imprint the logo onto the ball. And even though these are advertised, this is a pre-designed image. They still have to put the image on the ball based on the weight that you order. I don't think they have any of them just kind of sitting around. They make them to order. So this is a very cool ball, right? I've had a couple chips in it, which I've repaired right here. Very easy repairs. I did a video on that a few months back on how to repair a spare ball. Very easy. So these are spare balls, right? They're not super expensive. They're meant to go straight. And they're meant to get your spares. If you're a two-handed bowler, some of these balls will actually work for you because you have such a high rev rate being two-handed that these balls will actually hook if you give it enough revolutions, right? So for me, I'm a traditional bowler, so I just use these for picking up whatever spares I have. Usually it's a 10-pin or a 7-pin or a random split. If I leave like a bucket, I'm going to use my striking ball to get those. But my corner pins are definitely going to be used with a spare ball. Now, these balls are made out of plastic. A lot of them are. They're not reactive. There's only a few reactive spare balls out there. And one that I can think of is the Hammer Axe is a reactive spare ball. So I kind of want to go over the ones that I have. So we got 4 here. I just got this one a couple days ago because I like the design. Well, we'll start here with the On the Ball. So this one I have probably about 500-600 games with this. You know, if you add up all the spare shots that I've done, probably 500-600 with this. And it's pretty tough, you know. And I also drill Jopos in my spare balls, right? It's kind of frowned upon, this plastic balls, just because you can get mild cracking. And it is starting to crack around the edge here. It hasn't really done any further damage other than that minor crack there. So it's still pretty strong. These balls are very easy to clean. All you have to do is put them on a ball spinner, you sand them, and then you polish them. So you get your finest grit sanding pad. I would say like 3,000, 5,000. Sand it all up, and then you put it on a spinner and put polish on it, and it'll make it super shiny. You do not want these balls to hook, especially if you're a traditional one-handed bowler. If you're bowling on dry lanes, you put a lot of revs on these, you can get them to hook, but that's not the premise. It's meant to just go straight, right? Moving over to the next one, I have the Storm Clear spare ball, which I believe they still sell. I think we got this for $150. I saw this rolled at Reno last year at a tournament that we did, and it looked really cool underneath the lights. It looked like this thing was just sparkling and shining going down the lane. This was originally, this clear design was originally a Belmo ball. So Belmo had like a gold ball that he made a couple years back, and then they had the breast cancer awareness ball, the pink one, very similar to this one. And then they made this one. This is just clear with a white center in it. I also have Jopo in this as well too. The only problem with the clear balls like this is you get this track line on here. And I've talked about that in a previous video. And then you get these tiny little nicks on the ball. So these are a little bit more maintenance for you. You have to put these on a ball spinner. You have to sand them. You have to polish them. This track, if you can see that wear out on the track here, is probably from 50 games, right? And depending on the alley that you bowl in, this can happen within a couple games, right? So very high maintenance, but they're very cool looking, and they get a lot of attention in the bowling alley. So they make a whole bunch of these different clear ones. I think this is one of the few that is available right now is the clear one. I think the other previous ones are out of stock. And once again, too, I've got my Jopo in there, and we've got cracking around here, too. So one of the things you just have to realize, if you do Jopo, you will get cracking. And I have my own pro shop behind me. So what I do when that starts cracking is I drill this out, I plug it in, I fill it up, and I fix the cracks, and then I re-drill the thumb hole. I've only had to do that once. I did that once for this one, and I actually had a slug in this ball, and I did the same thing in this too. So I had an original slug in there. It was drilled by the pro shop, and then I put a Jopo in there. The next ball that I had that was recommended to me by Broski was the Storm Mix. And so what the Storm Mix is, it is exactly what it says right there. It's a mix of plastic and urethane. Okay, so this is going to be your toughest, your strongest, most durable spare balls. And I personally know a lot of two-handed bowlers that use this as their normal ball just because they have a very high rev rate. So they end up rolling this as their primary ball. This is also touted as a beginner ball too. It's not going to hook as much. You want to get into bowling, it's not going to break the bank. You can get these for around 80 bucks. Not too shabby. Okay, I've actually had a chip on this one, believe it or not. And that happens with all balls, right? Even though this one's touted as being really strong, it happens, right? There may be some kind of nail sticking out at the end where the ball return is, and it just hits a nail and takes a chunk out of it. Okay, so I did a quick repair on that, no big deal. This one is very durable, especially around the thumb. If you look around the thumb there, I've got my Jopo and inner in there. Have had zero cracking with this, and I probably have a couple games with this ball. So very strong. I would recommend if you're looking for a spare ball that's going to be very durable, and you don't want to have to buy another one, or you don't want to have to deal with cracking, I would recommend the Storm Mix, especially if you have Jopo. And then the next one I got a couple of days ago is a Rotogrip Jester ball. It's just a very cool looking ball. It's kind of on the same lines with this. It's clear, and the design is inside of the ball, so it's got a clear exterior. These are really cool, and you can drill this to have it go down the lane like this, or you can have it go down the lane like this, so it flips over end on end and gives that really cool looking effect. So I'm going to drill this up pretty soon. This one cost me $130. This is on sale actually on certain websites for about 126 bucks. So, and this one, like I said, same durability as this. It's probably going to need a lot of maintenance as far as polishing goes, just to keep the track line clean. There's a few other balls other than these that they sell out in the market. So Brunswick has the T-Zone. The T-Zones are going to be around 50 to 60 bucks, and that's pretty much your cheapest spare ball that you're going to find out there. They're plastic, right? They get the job done. Very little, I think there's just a little bit of a core. There might be a little tiny puck inside of it. But most of your spare balls are going to be 0.006 differential or less. The only one that has a differential that's higher than all these is this one. Just because it has the cube inside. So this differential is 0.018 differential. So this one can actually hook on you if you give it a little bit of rotation. If I'm dealing with really oily lanes and I want a little bit of hook so it doesn't go straight into the gutter for my 10 pins, I'll bring this ball out. Hammer also makes one. It's called the Hammer Axe. And that's a reactive spare ball, and I believe that one is also around I think it's like $70 to $80. And the Hammer Axe is a really cool looking spare ball. It's one of the cooler looking spare balls around, and with the new colors they came out with, they look pretty cool. And then Columbia 300 has the white dot, right? The infamous white dot goes back to, I want to say, the 1950s, 1960s. And that's pretty much, people use that for a spare ball today. Or a good intro ball. It's been a tried and true design. I believe it's a plastic ball. And it works. So we go on Storm. So you have the Storm Ice, which is one line below this one, the Storm Mix. And the Storm Ice is a plastic ball. And I believe you can get those for around the $70 mark. And they're going to be all plastic. Really cool looking colors on the Storm Mix. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more durable, I would go with the Mix. And then you have the clear ball here. So these are the three Storms. If you know, this is the SPI ball, same thing. All right, you have the clear version, you have this one. It's just SPI makes this one. Going to motive, we have the Aspire. So the Aspire just came out a couple months ago. It's touted as a beginner ball or a spare ball, right? So the differential, I want to say, is like 0.006. It's a very low differential, if any. I'll put the info up on the screen there for you. And I believe the Aspire is around $60, $60, $70. So a lot of the spare balls are all going to be around that same price point. And then Motiv also made a Sniper, which they don't sell anymore. They made a limited run of them, and I want to say it sold for about a year, and then they just kind of ran out. That's a very expensive spare ball, probably the most expensive spare ball to date. It's a $200 ball. And I think that one was a little bit stronger. It was, I believe it was plastic, but it was like their mixture of plastic, really durable. It wasn't like the regular T-Zone plastic balls. And a lot of the pros that from Motiv actually rolled the Sniper. Pretty cool looking ball. And then you also have On the Ball, right? So On the Ball, like I said before, makes a whole bunch of different designs balls. You can make any design you wanted to. I can even make a bowling fool logo ball if I wanted to. Give them the logo and they'll put it on your bowling ball, which is pretty cool. Just remember, when you get the On the Balls, it's a 3 to 4 week wait while they make your ball custom. So let me know which spare balls you guys have, if you guys roll a spare ball, and if you don't have a spare ball, why don't you have a spare ball? I know certain people use the Purple Hammer as a spare ball. Very durable, right? Urethane is super durable, and a lot of the times it goes straight for a lot of people. So let me know if you have spare balls or if you use your regular ball for spares. So if you have any questions about any spare balls, or if you're looking to get a spare ball, feel free to leave a comment down below. There's tons of choices out there to choose from. And once again, there's no reason not to have a spare ball just because they're ridiculously cheap. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many to choose from. It is fun to choose which spare ball I bring for the night of League. If you ever are traveling, you go to an alley you're not familiar with, and then may have damage and you don't want to bring your best ball here, bring a ball that's cheap, right? That's $50. You don't care that it gets damaged, right? This is my beater ball. Like I said, I've got so many games on this, I really don't care. So I bring this with me anytime that I know that the lanes may damage a ball or chip a ball, I'll bring this one. This is my baby. This is another one of my babies. And this is going to be my newer baby too. So I don't want any chips on this, but if it happens, right? It's a spare ball for you. If you like the video, give me a like, comment down below, and be sure to subscribe. And let me know what spare ball you have down in the comments. Until next time, see you in the next video.